I remember being a year into serving at church. I was sitting around the table with our deacons. The checking account was almost empty. We didn't know if our congregation could meet the budget. We didn't know how to talk to them about it. We didn't even know what we needed to change. There was so much that we knew we didn't know, and we didn't know where to turn for help.
Many churches are aware that they might not be following best practices with finances, but few realize they are actively working against the things that lead to greater generosity in their congregation.
In the churches I've served, as well as churches of so many of my colleagues, I've learned that churches often uphold standards and practices with finances that aren't theologically grounded and actually hinder the formation of our members. And then I was invited into a learning community where we learned to talk about money not as a taboo subject, but a primary way of walking in the way of Jesus.
The RCA has partnered with the Lake Institute on Faith and Giving to help our churches talk about money, learn about best practices, and advance their mission by cultivating generosity. We'd like to invite your congregation to be a part of a learning community that has the power to completely transform your congregation's mindset about generosity and stewardship.
Having trouble meeting the budget or talking about money are usually symptoms of some more deeply held mental models. In this learning community, we will seek to shift 4 common mindsets.
We want to move from defining stewardship as a church word for fundraising to stewardship as discipleship. We will embrace the idea that stewardship work is an important part of growing disciples, addressing the faithful use of all gifts, possessions, and money.
We want to move from scarcity to abundance. So often our congregations get stuck in a mindset of limitation or scarcity, when in fact we want them to know we worship a God of abundance. And so abundance thinking can propel us forward into new ministry opportunities. Scarcity thinking limits us and prevents us from fully, courageously following God. We want to move from thinking about money as a side thing that unfortunately we have to talk about to something that is actually a critical tool for propelling our mission forward. We can't expect people to give just to raise the budget, but when we have a clear and focused mission for our congregation, it's easy to invite people to give to that mission, and generous donors actually get excited about giving to that.
We want to move from a sense of transaction to a sense of relationship. Fundraising isn't about money, it's about relationships. The relationship of the giver to God, to the congregation, to the pastor or leader, to others, and to the wider church. In this sense, all donor care is really about the cultivation of relationship. We'd like to invite a small team from your church, including the senior or lead pastor, to join a regional learning community to do this work together.
We'll gather in a mix of in-person and online events over a 3 to 4 month period. We'll learn, we will practice what we learn, and we'll help each other. This content is data-driven and theologically based.
We wholeheartedly believe your congregation will be transformed for generations to come.
So one of our biggest takeaways as a church was that generosity isn't just about dollars and cents, but really about a person's spiritual journey, and that we really needed to do a better job of communicating what people were giving and how they can be a part of what we're doing.
Being part of a learning community centered around cultivating congregational generosity helped us clarify that giving is a spiritual discipline. It helped us understand the capacity of our congregation to give, and it inspired us to upgrade our church management software.
This generosity process was great. It gave our team the tools and the energy to go deeper and further with generosity in our church.
Will you consider joining us? Because of a generous grant from the Lilly Endowment, most of the cost is completely covered for you and your congregation. If you're interested, contact B. Norden at rca.org or L. Hummy at rca.org to inquire about how to set up this learning community in your region.